Millions of Americans are feeling the impact of last week's major Supreme Court rulings. That includes Friday's decision, which put an end to President Biden's student loan debt relief plan. And that one, the justices were divided 6-3 along ideological lines. NBC News White House correspondent Monica Alba joins us now with the latest on this. Monica, good morning. So over the weekend, what has been the reaction from the White House to really what was, a key administration policy here?
Yeah, it was actually one disappointment after another for the Biden administration, Joe. And we saw the president come out and talk about this first with that affirmative action case. And that's when on Thursday he said, when he was asked if this is a rogue court, he said, quote, "This is not a normal court." And we saw that kind of dismay and concern continue after the courts blocked his student loan forgiveness plan. And specifically, the president went after Republicans here. And I'm told by top aides that that's going to be a major part of his campaign strategy heading into 2024. Here's a little more of what he had to say.
Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans. I believe the court's decision to strike down my student debt relief program was a mistake, was wrong. I didn't give bars false hope, but the Republicans snatched away the hope that they were given, and it's real hope.
Now remember, that original plan was going to be authorized under what was known as the HEROES Act. During the COVID era emergency, they thought that would give them the legal authority. Clearly, they didn't. And so that's why now they're going to pursue a new path under the Department of Education. Joe.
Yeah, so let's talk more about that, Monica. The president announced a new plan to try and offer some relief to borrowers who need it. Explain to us what's in the plan and what the president's saying about it.
Well, because he has to start from scratch on this, essentially, they have to make up a completely new regulation. So they don't know the parameters yet of who would qualify and for how much. And also, it could frankly face some of the same legal challenges as the original plan. But they are going to start this immediately. And I'm told it could take a very long time. But in the interim, there's going to be some cushion for those borrowers who really have to start repaying as soon as this fall. So there's going to be a 12-month on-ramp repayment plan, and then there's going to be a couple other details in terms of making sure that no one is paying more than 5% of their disposable income for those payments. But there's a little more to say about that specific new measure.
I'm announcing today a new path consistent with today's ruling to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. This new path is legally sound. It's going to take longer, but in my view, it's the best path that remains to providing for as many borrowers as possible. I'm not going to stop fighting to deliver borrowers what they need, particularly those at the bottom end of the economic scale.
Now, the president's approval rating with young voters wasn't in great shape. And then he did announce this plan, remember, before the midterm elections, and he saw a jump in those polls. So this is a constituency that's really key for him, especially young minority voters who were really counting on this. And really, to put it into context and remind everybody, we're talking about 43 million Americans affected by this. Joe, still waiting.
Yeah, Monica, while we have you, let's talk about that other big Supreme Court decision that came down on Friday. They ruled in favor of the Colorado web designer who refused to work on same-sex marriages on their weddings. That vote also along ideological lines, 6-3. What's the latest reaction to that decision?
We did hear from Cabinet Secretary Pete Buttigieg over the weekend talking about specifically his concern with this case in the context of he's arguing that there are sort of some cases here that are being brought before the Supreme Court that are dealing with solutions, he argued, before there even is a problem. Specifically with this case in 303 Creative, there wasn't even somebody who was asking for a website, it seems. This was sort of a more hypothetical scenario. And then the president actually released a statement also saying he was deeply concerned with this decision, saying this really could have far-reaching impacts on the LGBTQ community, and that then that could even extend beyond that, he said, to other people of other faith, of disabilities, that really the most vulnerable populations, he says, with a Supreme Court ruling like this, could be at risk for rolling back rights. And that is a main concern for this administration, Joe.
All right, Monica, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.